Hi there. My name is Gareth Thomas. I'm the president, CEO, and director of West Haven Gold Corp. We are focused solely in southwestern British Columbia on the Spence's Bridge Gold Belt, and we're focusing quite heavily on our flagship Shovel Nose property, where we recently announced our inaugural mineral resource estimate, and we're currently drilling.
Good man. Good to see you. I haven't seen you since October. Good Christmas?
Yeah, it was a bit of the COVID, so I wouldn't say it was perfect, but in the same boat as many people, so not complaining. But yeah, let's just hope 2021's behind us here, as a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Okay, well, sorry to hear that about COVID. Well, look, wanted to get in touch with you, make contact with regards to some of the press releases that we've been seeing coming out. Obviously, maiden resource, we thought it might creep into this year. It did. What was your take on it? Didn't quite hit that million ounce number.
Well, we're very pleased. I think when I spoke with you last, in fact, an analyst thought I was downplaying it a little bit, saying something around 500,000 ounces, but I'd rather under promise and over deliver. And we actually did. We got to 1.1 million ounces in the inferred and the indicated. 75% of that is indicated at about 840,000 ounces gold equivalent at about 2.5 grams per ton gold equivalent. So I think it was just under 800,000 ounces of gold and just under 4,000 ounces of silver in the indicated classification. And we had an additional 250,000 ounces in the inferred. So yeah, where we got to that million ounces combined, which was, and when we started this, I think when we spoke last, we were talking more, we were looking at an inferred. So the fact we got this up to the indicated classification was great and a bit of a surprise. So that was nice, and we're we're very happy. It's a major milestone for West Haven Gold, and a testament to the work all our guys have done here. So yeah, it's exciting, and it's we're still very much an exploration story. Lots more to find here, but we're quite happy with de-risking and knowing that we have a pretty solid start here.
Okay, like thanks for breaking it down. I think it's important people understand how that breaks down. So that's really cool in terms of because we're talking about gold equivalent, right? You know what's coming, don't you? What next? You've done that. You did all the hard work. What next? How do we start judging you going forward in terms of 2022? You said at the outset you're drilling. So let's talk about drill programs. What's the plan?
Yeah. So last year we were, and once again, 2021's in the rearview mirror for us. We had a challenging year. Besides, we had a bad fire season up in the Merritt area, and then we ended the year off with a big flood season there. So it was pretty detrimental to the local communities, and for us, not nearly as don't care too much. But the fact we had to stop work in mid-November, we still drilled 40,000 meters last year, and we were drilling what's now the FMN zone, the Forget Me Not zone. So we're back there. We announced last week we drilled 27 meters of almost 2 grams there, including 4.5 meters of almost 6 grams. So very nice widths there for this new zone, which has had a very little drilling really in the big scheme of things here. So we're back there now. We started there about 10 days ago. We're on our 3rd hole already, and seeing some very interesting things there. And this is about 2.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers from the middle of our South Zone resource, which we just talked about, to the FMN zone, which we've now traced for about 500 meters. And this is all the same vein zone from the South Zone all the way up to the Franz outcrop. But we're back there drilling, and we're, as I mentioned there, we're still, very much an exploration story despite coming out with our resource here. But we believe there's going to be a lot more to be added to this South Zone resource, and we think FMN's the next stop here. So we are now looking forward ahead here to potentially having a resource out on the FMN by sort of mid to end year as well.
Okay, interesting. Oh, so you're going quickly with that one. So talk to me about what did you manage to get all of the holes or assays into the resource you just announced, or?
No, we're still waiting. So we had to cap that at a certain amount of time just to get it into the report by year end. And we knew we were going to announce that January 10th. So we kind of capped those drills. So we will actually have additional we're waiting for additional drill holes from just outside of the resource area, which will probably add into another resource down the road when we expand the South Zone. But we're also waiting for drill holes from the FMN, Alpine, and Lear Zone, which are all areas outside of this pit or potential pit. So yeah, we will have. I think we're sitting on about close to 30 holes here. As usual, the labs gum up quite a bit here towards the end of the year, but we also started taking our samples down directly to Vancouver versus Kamloops, which is saving us a lot of time there too. So we're going to have an influx of assays coming out here in the near future.
So how are you allocating the budget? Because when we spoke back in October, you had about $4 million, and I appreciate that you said you could, turn the tap on or off, as near damn it, to make sure that you stretch the money out until the market can recover. Obviously, we talked about it last time. Precious metal market came off towards the end of last year, and January hasn't exactly been thrilling either. So how are you allocating capital in terms of the drill targets you're going for? Because the press release I just saw, double the grade or more of the resource grade. So what are you looking at? What's the picture you're trying to paint here? Because if I stand back, I'm trying to work out, you're talking about, several different types of resources possible, but to what end? Is that to impress the market or someone strategic investor coming into this thing, or what he's trying to message?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. It's something I didn't touch on before. I mean, we've had it's probably fairly well known since our big discovery here a few years ago. We've had many eyes on us from differing many different groups, of course, and I think this resource certainly puts I wouldn't say a stamp of approval, but I think we're certainly getting lots of interest from various groups now saying, okay, this is to most people this was more than what they were expecting. So for us, that's a great start, as mentioned. And the next question we're getting is. In fact, we had a webinar right after we put that out on the 10th. We had a webinar, and some of the questions were, "Are you going to go towards an EPA or a?" And the answer to that is no, not at this point. Where we want to find more to add to this really good start of a resource. But we're also doing a lot of behind the scene things for the down the road here, including environmental baseline surveys. We're doing a lot of we've done geotechnical drilling. So we're doing a lot of the things that would help us get to that point once we decide to go there. But I think the best share value add here right now is to find more gold and hopefully find some more of these bonanza grade intercepts like we started seeing last summer, where we drilled 16 meters of 9 grams at FMN, where we're drilling now. And in terms of the budget allocated here, yeah, like we have about $4 million here, which doesn't seem like a lot to some of the guys you speak with regularly, but for us, with drilling $200 a meter all in, that's a substantial drill program for us for this year, and we're obviously very cognizant of our cash position here when we're in some. I mean, you and I speaking there before, some uncharted territories here for junior gold companies are, the share price for us has been it's been frustrating. We think we should be better. I'm sure you hear that a lot, but we got to be watchful. We've done everything we set out to do here, and we're going to carry on doing that by exploring. And the next best bet we have here is the FMN to get grade, hopefully add ounces, and get to that next where we could potentially have a resource, as mentioned here, by year end is pretty a very good chance of that, which could substantially add to the South Zone. And we got hundreds of other targets on this property, and not to mention our 3 other properties, which we'll be working on this year. So, but coming down to it, exactly how you allocate this money and how we don't want to go to the market right now in these conditions and what price we're at. It's not something we're gonna try and get the best bang for our buck, in which we have now. So
it's kind of interesting to me, actually, Gareth, because if we go back to some of the press releases just before we spoke last time in October, these were sort of low grade stuff, but over huge intervals, right? 265 meters at half a gram of gold, right, and some silver in there too, from memory. That's a different type of company from the types of grades you're seeing up at FMN, right? And it comes back to that question of who are you talking to? Are you trying to impress the market who loves a high grade headline? Or are you trying to say, well, look, if we can, through these resources, show a 2 million ounce resource, it starts to become really interesting. Not just, hey, we've hit 1 million ounce, so therefore, please pay attention. It's 2 million ounce, and maybe we need to start talking to these guys and understand what the intent is here. Maybe we could, that's what the industry guys say. That's what they're kind of focused on. So, who are you trying to talk to? So it's come back to that question from a few minutes ago. Is it strategic partners who perhaps come in with a decent balance sheet and you partner up somehow or get an investment somehow? Or is it the market and say, well, actually, retail guys, pay attention, because I think if you give us enough time, enough money, we can build this out into something meaningful. What's the game plan?
Yeah, well, I mean, the obvious answer is both. You want to hit these, we're certainly, hitting our best targets here, trying to get that bonanza grade. And, Peter, our exploration manager, has seen, up at FMN now, has seen some of the most intense veining we've seen. And not to dive into this being too technical, but to answer your question, yeah, of course we want to get this grade that's going to, light the market up like we did, back in 2018, early 2019. We followed it up with these 3 zones. So we believe that's going to be done at some point. We're going to hit, higher grade here. It's a matter of finding it. But at the same point, we want to be, our overall strategy here would be to certainly, I think I've said it before, we're not, a bunch of miners on this board, but we certainly want to put this in a position where we're going to move ahead with it if we have to. I think we're doing a good job doing that. But at the same point, I think it's a bit of both. We certainly want to add to the flavor, add ounces, but we're certainly we're always looking to drill higher grade any way we can. So yeah, I wouldn't say we're going up just to add this 265 meters of half gram, as you mentioned. That's a great thing to take, but we're where we are at the FMN, where we feel we're just really at the start there. And as Peter will tell you, it's very much the start, and there's a lot more drilling to be done there. So that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, the reason I'm pushing you on this bit is because at the end of 18 and into 19, you went over buck 20 or whatever. People got excited about the grades you're pumping out and the expectation of what you would then do. And, and since then it's kind of been sideways, right? I mean, sideways, and then 2021 hasn't really particularly been kind to precious metal companies. No. But I wonder if that comes back to the market either getting ahead of itself back then or not understanding the clear path forward for you guys and who you're trying to talk to. I'm sorry to put it in simplistic terms, but it's where's the money going to come from? If it's going to come from the open market, then you're competing against a ton of stories with 1 million ounces, and that's a lot of white noise out there. Or if you can impress someone in industry with not just the way you're going about it and some of the grades that you're getting, but how you're putting that picture together with these kind of, I don't know if you call them satellite resources, if that is going to be the best way forward. And it sounds like to me you're saying we'll take money from wherever it comes from right now, rather than with clear view of who you would prefer that money to come from right now.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have options even at this point. Like I said, we're not trying to think about this for at least another few months down the road here for financing. But yeah, we have many options available into how we, fortunately, we have some very good shareholders, very good people who put money into this. And a lot of people are looking at us more closely probably than prior to the resource. And I mean, you talk about another thing here, Matt, we talk about the Lassonde curve in this business, where you have this success and you go up, then people see you coming down and going, oh, now they're working to kind of put this thing more into development. And we're certainly, like I said, the resource was a good backstop, and it was a good de-risking, process here. But we're also, this year we're exploring, find more, and the FMN, though we could have a resource there, it's still very much exploration days there as well. Lot of new ground to explore. And we will have, I should say on this note, to maybe put a little more clarity on that, we will certainly have a news release out in the coming month or so that will really will really show people what our steps are and what we've done in the last year, not just drilling, but we've done a lot of good work back to the basics, silt sampling, geophysics, mapping, prospecting on the shovel nose. I mean, it's a 17,000 hectare property, and we have numerous targets that are, somewhat, with 8-9 kilometers away from here. But we also don't want to get away from the fact and think that we're just going around all over. We want to stick to the FMN for now, but we're certainly going to have other drill targets, many that we are still in the process of delineating, but going to be a lot of exploration drilling. It's just a matter of time when we pull the trigger to do get another rig or two up there as well. So we're just kind of filling out the market here, see how things go, but we're able to continue like this with our cash on hand for another year if need be, and hopefully we'll have another big discovery in the meantime. And if potentially, like I said, a resource on the FMN come year end as well. And I should note we're also coming out with an underground component of this mineral resource estimate as well, which should be out sometime in the springtime.
Okay, that's new.
So yeah. Well, we discussed it on the webinar as well. Some people were asking why we decided to do the open pit versus the underground, but we always knew we were going to do both classifications or scenarios, I should say, but we're using the same group. We got a lot of the infos there, so it's not going to be a whole starting from scratch. So we're going to have that underground component will be out sometime in the spring. The ball's rolling on that already. So we'll have another scenario there that will be interesting as well.
There's a lot going on there. I mean, and you're sure you've got enough money to do all of the above?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this current rate, yeah, I mean, we're probably good for 20,000 meter program this year. We run a pretty tight ship here. We have since 2011 when I founded this company. We're pretty tight ship, and yeah, I mean, kudos out to our drillers and our technical team who do all this work. It's we're set up here to go if we have to, and like I said. In terms of financing, we got lots of options, but hopefully we're not talking about that for another 6 months down the road here.
Okay, Gareth. Well, look, keep doing what you say and saying what you do, as you always have. Look forward to some of those updates coming through in Q1. Stay in touch. Let us know how you get on. Okay.
I appreciate that, Matt. As always, thank you very much.